The first thing is, I just wanted to go over my initial impressions of a book which you will see as backwards from here. I know it's backwards, right? It's called Cybersecurity Ops with Bash. I haven't been able to find a PDF or anything of it online. You can go and find the Amazon of it. I'm just going to give a quick initial impression of the book, even though I plan on doing a full review of it later. So the first thing I noticed, there's a couple actually really interesting things that I want to read to you directly. And yes, I'm going to tell you, it is a lot of confirmation bias for me. So I'm gonna have some story time with Mr. Rob from the Cybersecurity Ops with Bash, Attack, Defend, and Analyze from the command line, written by Paul Tronconi, I think, and Carl Arbing, PhD. So the preface here, the very first quote is, what is the greatest importance in war? What is of the greatest importance in war? It is extraordinary speed. One cannot afford to neglect opportunity. And that's a quote from Sun Tzu's Art of War. In this day and age, the command line is sometimes overlooked. Yeah, new cybersecurity practitioners may be lured away by flashy graphic interfaces. Burp, Java. More experienced operators may dismiss or underestimate its value. However, the command line provides a wealth of capability and should be part of every practitioner's toolkit. As an example, the seemingly simple tail command that outputs the last few lines of a specified file is over 2,000 lines of C code. I didn't know that. You could create a similar tool using Python or another language, but why would you? When you can access its capabilities by simply invoking it from the command line. So here we go. Additionally, learning how to use this command line for complex tasks gives you a better understanding of the way an operating system functions. Amen, brothers. Do we have a sister? No. Brothers. The most capable cybersecurity practitioners understand how tools work at a fundamental level, not just how to use them. And can I just say, this is, if you guys ever see me when I was doing my hacking for the OSCP and stuff, which I will return to someday, that really resonates with me because, you know, you can watch other people who will hack faster than me. And when I hack, I actually had to start putting it in my title. I was saying, hacking to learn. When I hack things, it's because I want to rip them to shreds and understand all the underlying protocols and all of the interactions that are happening, because ultimately, hacking is just about understanding what is happening underneath everything. That's all. That's all it is. And so if it takes me, you know, like 2 weeks to complete an over the wire or try hack me or a hack the box, but I end up doing the whole thing without pulling up burp at all, and I'm just doing it all with curl and the command line. That is my style, and I like that these, you know, very knowledgeable authors have confirmed the fact that understanding how a system works is super important for pen testing. Cybersecurity Ops with Bash teaches you how to leverage sophisticated Linux commands and the Bash shell to enhance, not Z shell, by the way, your capabilities as a security operator and practitioner. By learning these skills, you will be able to rapidly create and prototype complex capabilities with as little as a single line of pipeline commands. Woohoo! Although the Bash shell and the commands we discussed throughout this book originated in the Unix and Linux family, they are now ubiquitous. You know what? As soon as an author uses the word ubiquitous to me, they are my best friend for life. I actually have this under what, rdbx.gg/what/ubiquitous. Look it up. The techniques are easily transferable between Linux, Windows, and even Mac OS. Not so much. Who this book is for those who wish to achieve mastery of the command line in the context of computer security, which this is another thing that it caused me to think about this. Computer security is kind of underlying everything that I'm doing on RDBX Rob and RDBX GG. It's because, you know, systems operations, and this is kind of my favorite thing, and the terminal are generally associated with security, but they're much more effective for security when you're looking at you know, different security sorts of things that you're going to do. And I have to, I've almost wanted to put this out there as kind of a disclaimer on the front page saying, look, this entire thing is tainted by a focus on security. But not just security. It's more about, terminal interfaces. And you could be a writer, for God's sake, and not even care about security. And you should be able to, hi guys, big raid, awesome. Well, you just missed my reading of this wonderful book. Hey guys, if the raid's coming in, I'm gonna have to reread it for you really quickly here. What is of the greatest importance in war is extraordinary speed. One cannot afford to neglect the opportunity. Sun Tzu's Art of War, cited by Paul Tronconi and Carl Arbing, PhD, writers of the book which I'm currently starting and reviewing called Cybersecurity Ops with Bash, not Z Shell, not Python, with Bash. And I just want to say, I'm not going to recap. I'm not going to reread all that to you. Sorry, guys, you're a little bit late. But if you want to go back and watch that, you can. I just love the preface. The preface of this book, which of course is totally available for anybody to read. I'm just letting you know that I'm starting to read this book, and so far I've had overall a very positive impression of it. However, there's a couple things that I don't like. I mean, it wouldn't be me if I didn't like something. If I didn't not like something. There we go. Foundations, Part 1. Unknown anonymous quote. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. In Part 1, we begin by the primer on the command line, bash, shell, and regular expressions, and review the fundamental principles of cybersecurity. Okay, so just like any other book you guys might pick up, what's the first thing you do when you pick up a book? If you even pick up a book anymore. I mean, people don't pick up books anymore. It's like, it's paper. It's like old school, right? Sometimes I do. I just have good memories of books. Open the book. I am opening the book. The book's right here, dude, and it's also in the title. Cybersecurity Ops with Bash. That is the name of the book. And so it goes through functions. And so right off the bat, it's really obvious that the guys writing this book are not shell scripters. Oh, he wrote a book about how great Manjaro is. Yeah. You won't see professionals using Manjaro. The end. By the way, stay tuned. We're going to do a Google Bash scripting review and read through what the entire enterprise at Google uses for shell scripting and why Bash is a thing. So that's coming up. So a couple initial impressions of this, then I'm going to cut off this video and we'll start with the next one, because it sounds like you guys are much more interested about that. You guys can try to troll me about Manjaro all you want. It's a piece of crap. It always was. The organization is unexcusably bad. All right, so here we go. It does have a bash primer in here. Here's the thing that started worrying me, okay, guys? First of all, they put a dash after bin bash. They did use bin bash, which is good. That's always good news. Anytime you see user bin env used in a book, you know that it's a fail, particularly about cybersecurity. If I had seen user bin env in this book about cybersecurity, I would have threw it in the trash immediately. So that just means they don't understand shell security, period. Okay, it's got a couple other things that are really interesting. I would love to be able to show these to you, but I can't. Amazing Manjaro distro. Yeah. The other thing that concerned me is that they put thens on their own line. Exorcism.io does that as well. That really triggers me. It's like boomer shell scripting. That's horrible. They're also doing a lot of catting around. And so that's a fail. They actually suggest use of the function keyword, which is a major fail. It's an unnecessary bashism that just makes your code harder to read, not particularly clearer. They also put all of the curly brackets on their own lines, like KNRC. Oh my God, that's like such a fail. So let me just say that I am actually really encouraged by them in general. The regular expressions that they're talking about are they're not bash shell expressions. They're very sed like. They have, here we go. Yeah, I do like how they refer to examples, and the thing about books is they have to stick with black and white, which I really love. That's why I don't use color on my syntax highlighting, because I want it to be I want equal emphasis to be on anything. And I was actually going through the syntax highlight. I'll show you today on the Google shell review guide, and the colors are unreadable, completely unreadable. And so next time you think that you want context highlighting on your blog or something like that, you might want to rethink it. Some people won't be able to read it who have color sensitivities. Anyway, so here's a regular expression primer, which I got to tell you, I was not impressed with at all. It's focused on grep, and yeah, as important as grep is, it doesn't talk about pro regular expressions, which are the industry standard, at all. And so that kind of troubled me. It spends a lot of time on POSIX ranges. Again, I'm assuming you have a little bit of bash experience already so I'm using language that you might not understand. Yeah, I mean, it gives you like three pages of regex, and gives you grep examples, and that's it. Principles of defense and offense, the attack life cycle. That's all stuff that I'm looking forward to reading. The data collection section seems relatively good, except it uses the word cut, and I'm like, why would you use cut if you know how to use anything else? So I'm not a fan of that. That's something where Bashan said, particularly said in awk, they cry like little babies compared to Perl when it comes to doing that kind of stuff, and that just shows that they don't know that exists, which concerns me as authors. The fact that they put PhD in the name too, that just always triggers me. We don't give a shit about your PhD. We want to hear what your experience, not the fact that you have a degree from an institution that probably doesn't know, including Carnegie Mellon, how to teach you about cybersecurity. They might teach you how to use SourceForge as your source repo. Okay, getting Linux log files, yes, tarballs, gotcha. And then this is where they really start to lose on me. They're actually piping to while loops. And I'm gonna show you in a second why that is such a massive major indicator of someone who has no idea how to code shell. It was really validating to see that Google fully agreed with me, and totally, it is already on the stupid page. It's really validating when you go through and read it in Google's thing, and they have like a 2-page summary of why that is stupid, as well as just kind of justifying what I was saying before. And so anyway, I want to get to the next video. I'm just going to finish a couple initial impressions of this book. The value I find in the book so far is that they do appreciate use of the terminal command line over other fancy tools. They do have obviously a very good knowledge of the main important tools, Nmap, netstat, like that kind of stuff. ifconfig. So it sounds like they know about security, even if they're not like pro shell scripters, and that's forgivable. In fact, you find that out. Yeah, goddamn, these functions are so ugly. I wish I could show you how ugly they are. If you're a shell scripter, you're gonna look at their code and go, ah. But it's not about that. This is about using the shell to do cyber ops and cybersecurity ops. They talk about using the find command, which I would expect to be a big thing. They talk about the ls command. Oh my god, they're piping that to egrep. Most languages adopt Perl syntax like PCRE. Yeah, they really do, and I did a thing on that, which is why Perl was created to replace sed and awk. The end. Comparing it to anything else beyond that is unfair. And so there we go. Searching message digest. Okay, we got that. I'm almost done with this review. I know it's boring for you guys. Does anybody happen to read the book Cybersecurity Ops with Bash? Anybody actually have gone through this book before? Have their own anything to talk about? So if not, you might want to. At this point, I'm not going to recommend you buy it. especially after seeing this sed line to replace all the IP numbers. Oh my God, this is so totally bad. They could have used a replacement instead of sed. They could have used a bounded field to replace all this 10 dot with a Perl script. So I will tell you one thing this book is going to be for me. You bought the throwaway edition. Well, you know, that's the problem. I have to do a lot of curating, and I have a feeling people aren't going to send me their stuff to review for free because I'm really mean when I review stuff. Oh my God. Cut-D, pipe to TR, pipe to tail. No, just no, people. No, people. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to produce something else that is not this book, that basically takes every one of these bad syntax lines and says why you would never do that. Oh my God. I cannot tolerate this. This guy is sending a cut to another cut to another cut, and then a TR and then a tail. It's just horrible. I can't tell you how bad this is. Oh my God. Oh my God, he's using grep to parse XML. Oh my God, people. You know what? I'm sure he's justifying it by saying, well, those things will be on the system even if I break into it. So will Perl. Okay? Perl is on any system made within the last 30 years. 40 years, actually. Oh God, you do not want to get me started. I need to, you know what? I need to spend an entire thing just replacing sedawk and cut tr and all that stuff the way God intended, the God being Larry Wall, who created Perl to replace all that crap and created the industry standard for regular expressions in the process, not the replacement for Python and PHP, which it never was intended to do. Stupid or whatever / Perl, you can go read about that. It's all getting moved, by the way. I don't like using the word stupid in there. It's going to be, I'm now putting it under advice / don't. As in, don't hate on Perl until you understand it and what its purpose is. Because it's way better than anything in this book. Oh my God, this grep line piping to the sed line. Please tell me that they're using JQ for processing JSON. Please tell me. They're parsing JSON with grep. All right. Oh, there's JQ. Whew. Thank God. JQ is a lightweight language and JSON parser for Linux. I was about to get really worried. If these two did not know about JQ, I was going to get really worried. So there's JQ because authors in the JSON array library. All right, I'm almost there. Maybe I'll give you some fish to watch since you don't want to just listen to me like banter on. There's a few fish for you to watch. You're liking D-Lang more than Rust. Interesting. You'll have to give me a comparison of those two. I'm like starting to do a lot of Rust these days, trying to pick it up and for my parsing algorithms and stuff. Tried to parse with egrep and found that it wouldn't validate, so they Googled it. Maybe. I mean, I can tolerate grepping XML and JSON for a pen tester because they're not going to have JQ on a system, so that's tolerable. But yeah, they're one of the places you can look. Yeah, yep. Perl RE and Perl Run, yeah, one-liners. I have a couple Perl one-liners in my. Actually, did a video of. I tweeted about it, about what makes said crap out, but that's a different thing. So anyway, it's probably worth mentioning that here while I review this book, because this book relies heavily on sed and cut, and those are easily and much better replaced by Perl. And you can't say Perl isn't going to be on the system where cut and sed are. That's not true. That the only time that would be true is in an extremely rare edge case where you're hacking like a SCO or a Solaris box that was created in 1992 or 4. I mean, it's so rare. Having Perl on a system is so much more likely than having any of that other stuff. Any open Perl might not be there on modern systems. Open WRT router took Perl off. Dumbasses. Why would they do that? Because they don't want to be hacked, probably. Debian still uses it for its package system. I tell you what, if I was making a device that I wanted it to be secure, the first thing I would take off is Perl. It's the first thing I would take off, because if you know you have Perl there, if you know that there is a Perl there, and you break into the system, it's like, huzzah! Yeah, if you strip Perl out of a system, you break a lot of system tools. Yeah, fishies are pretty. So Vera's with me on this. I mean, Vera's pretty much my generation. He would Perl all the things if he had a choice. Perl can eat and digest any binary. It really can. Oh God, Perl binary, like unmapping and stuff. It's so great for that. This is like Perl is too big for the minimal OpenWRT. Oh, good point. Good point. What does it have on it? What shell is it running? Is it running Dash or something? Perkins? Do you know? Can you tell me that? That'd be curious to know. The fishies open source. Yes, you can have the fishies. The fishies, by the way, so let me give credit where credit is due. These fishies, this particular version of Ask Aquarium, which I've renamed Fish, is brought to you by Undead Leech, the maintainer of the Alacrity project, who quickly made the background transparent. If you've seen Ask Aquarium before, this is what you're used to seeing. So this is pre-Undead Leech, and this is post-Undead Leech. So Undead Leech, in a matter of minutes, literally learned Perl, went in there and changed the background. I just mentioned it as a wish on my wish list. By the way, I'm adding a wish list to artmx.gg. So if anybody wants to help me out with some of the wishes, if wishes were fishes, see, we'd be catching some. Anyway, oh God, that was bad. But anyway, so yeah, here is the fish command. Just know that it's a Perl thing. You're going to have to install some cpan libraries to get it to work. And so, yeah, so you can go ahead and do that. So yeah, that's always there. I'm on chapter 7 of my initial impressions of this book. And it does have sort, which you gotta have. Gots to have sort and unique. Those are super important. With Raspbian. Have not done that. Hi, Viable. Let's see. Apache web server stuff. I mean, is this really that dated? When was this written? Oh my God. Apache? Seriously? 2019? First edition released 2019. April 1st. Well, it was a big old April Fool's Day joke. April Fools use Bash for cybersecurity. April Fools. That's not, maybe it is a big April Fool's joke. Nope, that's set in head and look good. All right, that's fine. Counting occurrences and data, all good. People who just don't know any better. Yes, I know there's lots of Apache systems, and that's probably why, because he's probably hacking those old government Apache systems. You know what's so funny? I actually, was it 1997? I asked Nike, the IT team, I said, hey, can we please put Apache and replace Netscape server? And they said, oh no, that's open source software. We can't do that. A year later, they came to me and said, hey, have you heard of this Apache server? We're wondering if we could replace Netscape with it. We think that it could be better. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Go for it. I kid you not. That actually happened. Yep. So just know you got to be, maybe if I put the menu. Oh, there's the awk. You lost all respect. Paul and Carl, Paul and Carl, we'll call you Parl, has just lost all respect for me for using this awk line. And I know you guys love awk. A lot of people love awk out there, but this awk line is inexcusable. It is so ugly and bad. No, guys. They're not doing regular expressions. They haven't learned Perl at all. You can tell. This is the problem. People make books about Bash, but they don't know Perl exists. Or you know, other stuff. It's like if they had those books to inform their positions on these other things, rather than just saying, just use this one thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like the more tools you know, so take a note. The more tools and languages you know, the more informed your overall opinion is going to be. right? So that means before you hate on a language, learn it. Learn the language before you hate on it. And that goes for me. That's why I can hate on Python so much. I learned and taught it for 10 years. So, and used it in production environments. You cannot hate on things you haven't tasted. You can't say you don't like green beans unless you've eaten your green beans. All right? So what else we got? If it works, it ain't stupid. No. You cannot pull that. That is like one of the most popular technologist punts I've ever heard. But it works. If I had $1 for every time someone says "but it works," I'd have over $100. Over $100 at least. Yeah. Yep. I would pay for my internet bill with all of the dollars of people who have said, "But it works." Sometimes just making it work is not good enough. This is okay. So what we got? Data displayed in a histogram. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's not anything I could do remotely. Declare dash capital A for... Oh, he's got associative arrays in here. Okay, so they know bash associative arrays. That's good. That means they know bash 4 plus or so. Bash 5 something is the current one, right? What's the current bash version? 5 whatever. A number of people who hate on stuff before they try it is the reason change stagnates. Yeah. Mellow Moxie, the voice of wisdom from Mellow Moxie. It's like, you can't hate on it until you try it. And then critique the hell out of it. That's what life is about. You can't, Anyway, like people who hate on Rust. I agree. People who hate on Rust who never tried it don't understand its value proposition, which would include me 2 years ago. You know why? Because I got triggered by how I was presented with Rust. I'm like coding all the Rust I can right now, trying to learn it because it's going to be my saving grace when it comes to parsing Pandoc Lite Markdown with a peg parser called pest.rs if you're interested. Super cool stuff. Rust's sweet spot. Rust is wicked fast and great for parsing and great for making this terminal is written in Rust. This is Alacrity. So, but when Rust was presented to me, I was like, oh, Rust is so much better than Golang. And I was like, no, it's not. It's got a much denser syntax. It's not for beginners. It's not made for developer productivity. It's made for other things. And they kept saying, no, it's so much better. It's so much better than Go. So much better than Go. And I'm like, you don't even know how those two things are related. By the way, I wrote a blog this week, yesterday. We'll go through this at the end. I wrote a blog specifically about why I find Rust and Bash are squeezing Go out of the middle for me. And I still use Go, but we're going to talk about that. Stay tuned for that. That will be a separate video after the break. I'm just about ready to conclude this video on initial impressions of this CyberOps book. They definitely have some knowledge here. What I'm a little bit sad to see is, oh my gosh, they're trying to make a histogram to show the number of accesses from the access log by counting things together with WC. I was expecting to see more cybersecurity stuff in here instead of a bunch of little chintzy, let's make a pretty histogram. I don't give a shit about histogram. I want you to show me how to do pen testing with Bash, which is what you promised in the front of the book. Getting a little bit triggered here. Parl, guys, I'm a little, I applaud your effort here. Finding uniqueness in data. Okay. We learned that in Over the Wire in like the third exercise. That is, oh, hey, yeah. In fact, here is, 2.5 pages of content about how to pass that level in Over the Wire. You like the fishies? Aren't they fun? That gets IPs and hit the server the most. Yeah, well, try to see. Vera, show me that line in Perl. Use an A&E or an NE, just an NE or an A&E. We need to do a whole thing on command line Perl because it's like a lost art and it is so much better than the alternatives that are out there right now. And it's just not getting used because people don't know about it. Yeah. So here we go. We have awk, identifying anomalies in data. Yes. Oh, guys, Paul and Carl Paul and Carl, I'm going to speak directly to you right now. Why on earth would you put an suffix on your shell script? Please tell me, why did you just torpedo your reputation by putting a suffix on your shell scripts on Unix? Is it because you want it to be able to run on a Windows machine too? I mean, seriously. There is nothing that says noob shell coder more than putting .sh on the end of your shell commands. In fact, I'm going to show you about this. We're going to go into the Google stuff. They even confirm it's another thing that Google confirmed that I was already doing. Yay! Okay, so as if Google's opinions matter, right? Well, on the tech front, I think they matter more than they do in other things. However, let me just say, so I use .bash and .sh if it's a library, if it's meant to be included in something else. Otherwise, stop putting suffixes on your scripts. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Just stop. It's not a Unix way to do things. It screws up your pipelines, a million other reasons. Don't do it when I have a large number of scripts from different languages in a single directory. Well, I disagree entirely with that approach because you cannot compose those in using the Unix philosophy into a pipeline. It's just another extra keystrokes that I have to use the pipeline. Any command that's going to be used needs to be a command, and that means you don't care what kind of thing it is. The other reason you don't want to put a .sh on there is, what if you want to actually compile or replace that and you want to optimize it? Okay, so let's say you want to let's say, for example, my little fish thing here. Okay, so if I have my fish thing here, Barry, you agreed on something? I love you, dude. It's good to see you, by the way. So, if I want to run my fish, let's say I replace this fish program with another fish program that's written in Rust and it's like wicked fast and doesn't require a CPAN library and everything like that. I can replace it with an executable and you don't know. No, God, no. Don't use suffixes in Linux, Unix land. Stop using suffixes. The only reason to use a suffix is if you have, I believe, is if you have a file, and Google agrees, the Google technology team, is if you need to import it. So if you're going to write a library, then libraries make sense because there's no shebang line to tell what syntax it is, blah, 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 right? We're talking about both. Okay, so I use, these books have .sh in, which is kind of ironic because they're not... Yeah, these are bash scripts. These aren't even shell scripts. This is bash. He's using the function keyword, which is bash. Actually, Corn Shell has that, so maybe that's why. Anyway, I don't do .sh or .bash. And then, by the way, I'm very precise if I am going to use it with .sh or .bash. And I actually will use .dash a lot of times because I like dash better. But that does, is it going to be importable? Probably not. So it's probably better to use .sh for that. When you're doing things that are going to be included into other libraries, which is rare really in the scripting world, in the bash scripting world, you want shell scripts to be autonomous. You don't want them to have a bunch of imports. You want to be able to type give space fish and have you get everything that needs to run it, not have to install an extra extraneous library. So anyway, that was all triggered by my noticing that example 7-11 useragents.sh requires an unnecessary sh extension, which is a bad idea according to Mr. Rob and to Google. The Google Tech team. So here we go. Let's go down here. More cuts. About done here. Real-time log monitoring. Well, that ought to be interesting. Tail piping to egrep, piping to cut. Oh gosh. Let's see. Log-based intrusion detection. IOC.txt. Okay, monitoring Windows logs. Now you've really lost me. In fact, this says wintel.sh, generating a real-time histogram of Windows data. Looper.sh, interval. Just looking here, declare-i. Oh, that's good. They declared the integer rate. That's good. And they put a trap. That's good. They put a trap. Most people who do shell scripting like that don't do traps. Bash dash security. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think I know enough to know about this book. In fact, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to read it. There's nothing new in here for me. I mean, it's showing you how to loop over Nmap scans and how to tail log files and how to compare previous outputs using diff. I mean, this is stuff, if you've never seen Bash before, this is the kind of stuff that might be useful for you to review. It's reading from different file handles. That's very interesting. How are they doing that? They're reading from a number 4 file handle, which, how would they even open that file handle? Let's see, 4 ports, the 4 port, and then the style. Read or break. That's interesting. This must. Oh, they're doing a parameter expansion. Good for them. See, they're finally doing some parameter expansion. They should have started with that. I might have had more respect for their coding ability. Auto scan. I know that sounds condescending. I'm sorry. I can't help it. File list, ls scan, temp clean, remove dash rf. Ooh, we removed a temp file without quoting the temp file. Oh my god. You guys claim to know about security. You're not quoting any of your shellcode. Oh my god. That is like, this code is like, in many, many ways, I've spotted probably 10 or 15 violations of basic security standards when you code shell. Do not loop over Nmap scans. I know, dude, I know. I don't think it's that bad, but for Rob, it is all either black or white. Oh, come on. I have all my files in one directory with that SH. You can find my scripts easier. You have fun with that. It's so stupid. Okay. Have fun with that. What are you going to do with your scripts? Do you have to type out .sh in every one of them? Do you actually use your scripts as filters in the Unix philosophy? Or do you just use one script? See, this is the problem. People who put suffixes on their code don't understand the Unix philosophy. They don't. And usually when you see them using the computer, when you see them using their computer, they're running their one script. And they're not making one script that does one thing really well, and they're not employing the Unix philosophy, which is to create really great seams between things and to use pipes and to use things that could go in the background. So anybody who uses suffixes automatically just doesn't understand that whole particular approach. Emacs has shell mode. Well, if you're using Emacs, you don't understand Unix at all anyway. I mean, not for pen testing. Name one professional pen tester who uses Emacs. Seriously. Somebody needs to name one professional pen tester who is paid every day who uses Emacs. I'm going to put the challenge out there. So, and there's really obvious reasons not to do that. Okay, so let's see here. File system monitor. You guys can use your Google Foo and give it a shot. All right, so... time file system monitors. Did we lose our nice music? It was keeping me so centered and happy. You know, I'm gonna get triggered if I don't. I'm almost done with this review. Let's not beat up the Emacs users. There's a very legitimate reason to use Emacs, but that reason is not to do pen testing. Because Emacs isn't going to be on the system that you just broke into. You got to know VI. It's not an option. You got to know it if you're going to be a pen tester, at least on a Unix system. So yeah, Julian Assange. He's not a hacker. Julian Assange is a poser. You talk about poser. He's not a hacker at all. Center it again, folks. Okay. Go to reasons to use Emacs. I'm looking at automation and notifications here. So I'm about ready to just conclude here. Baseline.sh. This is not a book written by anybody who professionally shell scripts. Malware analysis. This ought to be interesting. All right. Oh, hey. So on page 144 of a book that is I'm just going to tell you here. So on page 144 of a book that is 263 pages. Oh my gosh. They have introduced us to VI. He's an avid that's his soul that it if Assange is actually seriously, if Assange is an Emacs user, that confirms everything I ever thought about the dude. He's yeah. All right. So, yep. Okay. So anyway, here we go. We got VI. VI is a typical command for what? Why did they even list this here? Right. So they have VI listed under malware analysis. So apparently VI is a good tool for malware analysis, and I would agree with that. They also list XXD, which you would have already known if you've done over-the-wire level like 5. And it's just fish. And what do we got? Curl. So they list curl as the first thing for malware analysis. All right, that's good. But they give you like a paragraph on it because he's got stuck in Vim and had to reboot. That is such a popular, stupid joke. All right, analyzing with XXD. Okay, well, we know about this. Seriously, at this point, I'm like, go play over the wire. It's way better than buying this book. Extracting strings with egrep on a sumfile.exe. Okay, you know what? They just give themselves up here. This is a Windows user who's decided to figure out how to use Bash. That's what it is. So they're egrepping strings out of sumfile.exe, and they have not. Please tell me they're going to tell us about the strings command. Do they? Watch them not have it. Watch them not have it. Oh my god, they don't even know about the strings command. It would have been the first thing they would have listed in analysis. Instead, they have you write this convoluted egrep that's just looking for a string in the file. Which, I mean, I'm not against that. Oh, and now they have a full-blown awk script. Oh my god, you guys are embarrassing yourselves at this point. Tput for formatting and commands. It doesn't tell you about ANSI escapes at all, just tput. How to display HTML. They just wrote a script for how to send HTML through a shell script. This is not 1990. Look at this. It's going to be backwards. Look at this. How to make HTML from a bash script with like 1,000 echoes. This is backwards. I cannot resist. I know it's backwards. Look. Can you see that? It's like 50 echo statements. It's like the 1990s once its horrible, shitty shell scripts back. The book is called The Cybersecurity Ops with Bash. And oh my god, at this point, I am so embarrassed for them. I mean, it started out being, okay, they appreciate the command line and everything. And at this point, I'm like, I've almost made it to the end. Just reviewing their code. And it's just so embarrassing. I mean, it's like really embarrassing. There's no way I recommend this. In fact, I want my money back. Can I still return it? What is this? A dashboard script output. They made their own dashboard script. Oh my god. It's so bad. If you're going to do any dashboard stuff, guys, pick up TView or CView or the same thing that you guys know about YTop, right? It was built with Rust. If you use a terminal application these days, you don't do this kind of parsing and fucking around the terminal size and everything. You actually use, a library that's designed to do this thing. What is my opinion of Aaron Schwartz? You know that already, right? You're trying to get me on something that I like to talk about. Aaron Schwartz is my favorite memorial person. I wish he was alive today. If he were, I would try to be his best friend. He'd probably hate me. We'd probably fight all the time. That's just how I was. But he did more for this world than most other people in the Silicon Valley today, including all the big people who think they're doing great things for the world. He came closer to saving the world than anybody else. And he actually got rich and then left. See, you don't see other people in Silicon Valley doing that. He wrote this dashboard, which is just like a way to monitor multiple things using a terminal. He's crawling websites with curl finally on page 174. And wget. He talks about wget, how you can pull down the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against wget for pulling down a whole site. We did that, actually. Remember, guys, when we did that? I didn't say this earlier, but this goes with your topic, bash obfuscation. Bash obfuscation. I don't know if you're talking about... Are you talking about because it's just hard to write in bash? Or you think bash is dense and hard to read? Or is that what you mean? Oh my god, he's actually using telnet here instead of curl. And there's not a single use of... Please tell me he's going to use netcat. Please tell me you're going to use net... Nope. No netcat. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is such a waste of money. How much did I pay for this thing? Base 64. Script obfuscation. Chapter 14. Yeah, so... You can't... He's talking about obfuscating scripts right now. Well, there's an hour. I'll never get back. Jalopy, you know what? I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry, but at least now you know. He's actually showing how you can use eval properly. I'm just like... He's showing you... They're trying to obfuscate logic using base 64 so you can hide the whole thing. And then unbase 64 to hide your payload. But that's, like, stupid. There's a section here on cryptography, creating a wrapper for your cryptography. So it creates an encrypted key, and then, so, okay, that's interesting, but then you have to put the key in something. I see, so he's making payloads. He's making payloads with bash, he's wrapping them up. He's using all different kinds of crypto, he calls it. It's not really crypto at all. These are some pretty cool scripts, asking for the keys and stuff. I have a feeling he's making his own payloads that you can then type in. That's kind of crazy though, because he's reading it from standard input, so that's fine. He's reading it from standard input. So the idea, there's a whole section here about how to encrypt your scripts, and okay. So guys, the title says Initial Impressions of Cybersecurity Ops with Bash. That's what I'm doing. The book is called Cybersecurity Ops with Bash. It's written by Paul Tronconi and Carl Arbing, PhD. And he's got a fuzzer here, a command line fuzzer, if you want about fuzzing, which is all in C. That's not even... At that point, it's a C. It's like one line. There's a bunch of C there. If you're going to do fuzzing, watch Gamozo. He's the king of fuzzing. Writing operating systems in Rust just so he can do more fuzzing, fuzz all the things. And he doesn't charge to watch his thing. So you know what? I don't even have to read the whole thing. It's just my initial impressions. Oh, there's netcat. Thank good. Establishing a foothold, which important step. So there is a netcat listing. There's an entire chapter on netcat. It looks like. There's a bash backdoor, which is, reverse shell. Clandestine, you know all about that stuff. Bash just slipping up an upload through AV. Yeah. So obfuscation through bash, that's actually another thing Perl does really well. And so yeah, custom remote access tools, local rat.sh. That looks okay. He actually wrote this. All right, so you want to know when you know? I know, dude. Don't even get me started. It's so not worth the money. This is actually kind of embarrassing. So look at this. I'm gonna show you this. There's a few lines in here that really give away the level here. All right, so this is a script I was watching before. Yeah. So he actually wrote this in a script, and I want you guys to tell me why this is. This is wrong, and then I don't know if I have enough time for my other review. I want to finish my Google review. All right, so this is actually written in, okay, and he's actually reading. He's reading in FN like this. So this is effectively what's there. So who would like to start telling me all the things that are wrong with this line? Ready, go. So Or deobfuscating it. Oh, right. Well, you could probably deobfuscate the bash script and then go see the contact. Yeah. It will close the terminal. Well, yeah, that's true. I think it's supposed to close the terminal. But okay, we'll come back to this. We're almost done. All right. So the first thing wrong with this is that the whole entire thing could have been written as a short circuit operator instead. So what was it? And exit. So that's like one small thing. So that whole line of logic could have been replaced with short circuit logic, first of all. Secondly, this FN right here should never, ever, ever be unquoted. Never. Okay? It should always be quoted. Oh, you found the fish? I gave people the fish already. Who else wants fish? Here, there's the fishies. If somebody else wants more fish, there's more fish. So, anyway, that's all. So that is the kind of thing you would want to do, not what he had. At least he didn't know. No. Well, you shouldn't do that anyway. And Google agrees with me. Huzzah! I keep finding things. I was like, I love that rating the Google review, which is what we're going to cover next. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'll be back at, or a 7-minute break. I'll be back at 1 o'clock here. You know what? I read enough. There's really there's the last section. There's like 10 pages covering system administration with Bash. There's no way that's going to be enough. This is clearly a money grab. To just get a few little things in there and make the case. Seriously, this is not. Oh my God, the number of subshells in this implementation for Ping Monitor. Let me count them all. I'm going to count how many subshells are here, and then we're going to talk about why this is full of crappy programming as we review the Google review for the Google guidelines for shell programming, which I just read the other day as I came across this book actually. This actually is using. Oh my God! I have to show you this one. Okay, so please somebody tell me what is wrong with this. Okay. All right, I'm not kidding you. This is in this book. I've got to help my gentle viewers understand why this is absolute crappy programming. Okay, so IP. And all right, there's at least 10 things wrong with this line that I want to go through and talk about. So, it's so bad. This line alone is reason enough to throw the book in the trash. May you never buy it. I was pretty, you know, look, you can go back and watch the video. I was pretty hopeful, but this is just disastrously bad. I mean, this is so bad. I cannot even tell you how bad it is. So, why is this bad? Does it work? Yeah, it works. Probably works. This book cost me $40. This stupid piece of crap thin little book that I was all excited about doing cybersecurity ops with Bash. You know what? The only thing this book has done? The only thing this book has done is prove how better Python is for cybersecurity than Bash. If this is all you got, which I know you can do more with Bash, and that's what I was hoping to read about. If this is all you got to say that you should use Bash instead of Python, you got nothing. You got nothing. Yeah, okay, so Bash, so let's, okay, so maybe you can get some value out of this thing. Let me show you. I have a couple minutes left. I can't return it. I bought it a while ago to do a review of it. It's absolute crap. It'll go downstairs and sit on my shelf with all the other crap down there that somehow manages to get published. And this is why I don't write books. Not so I can throw crap at other people's books, but because as soon as you write a book, it's irrelevant. There's like something else that's going on bad. Okay, the cover, it's going to be backwards, but it's going to be backwards. Just deal with it. All right. Vera, you win the prize for the most creative solution there. Okay, so the first reason this is bad is that first it's not escaped. And you guys are going to yell at me, but it actually should be, I wouldn't even use TR. The TR just means you're a POSIX guy and not a shell guy. All right, so there you go. Okay, so that's the first thing you should do. You should make sure you have the quotes around these because other things can happen that you're not expecting to happen. That Google agrees with that. It was a good reminder. It goes on the bookshelf. Yeah, I don't, because I review stuff, right? So here we have an echo. So let me show you how you could have done this. First of all, we don't know where it's coming from. Actually, this is, oh my God. Is it really that bad? It really is this bad. This is so horrendously bad. Okay, so this is what you could do instead. Equals, and you know what I don't understand? The thing I don't understand about this is there's one section that actually uses parameter expansion really well. But this is a total demonstration of complete incompetence with Bash. I mean, complete incompetence. So, because this is sub-invoking 2 subshells without quoting that could be done without invoking any subshells and a wicked kindergarten easy parameter expansion. Farrah, you're cracking me up, dude. Okay, so here we go. So you could have done IP add, and then what, guys? What else do we need? We're gonna do a find and replace. We're gonna do a find and replace. Like that. All right, that's it. The end. Should we check and see if it works? I think that's it. You have to do the backtick on it twice to do it, but that is all it takes, my peoples. So yeah, let's do this. Let's test it. So IP add equals blah 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 blah. All right, so let's make sure that looks like echo before. I'm just being lazy. All right, I should be quoting these. Blah blah blah. I know. Just give me a second. Actually, this one we have to quote it. We won't ever see it. This is all just trying to make it. This is clearly giving away the fact that these people are using. They're definitely using Windows. Okay, so dude, you can die because you suck. You suck. All right. And we're gonna go up here and do this. Oh, didn't quite get it the way we wanted to. Did we now? Do I? Oh, I have to do the -e. Silly me. Because I'm not using printf. Okay, so let's do this. Boom. All right, so we got our line returns in there, all right? But what happens if we send that to a file? So temp. I am really having trouble here. Bar. All right, so if we open up temp bar, we're gonna see there they are, the infamous control M's, which by the way are not a problem anymore. This also dates this book. This is the kind of thing that doesn't occur anymore, not even on Windows. But besides, if you're on Windows, you probably use the new WSL2, but whatever. So how do I get rid of that, right? Well, so they're just trying to get rid of the control M. That's the thing that's coming from the Windowsy world. And so they're trying to replace it. Well, so we have it before, and now we have it after, echo after. This will be a part of a beginner boost for Bash, which will cover parameter expansion. I do plan to do a comprehensive Bash lesson, like a course, an entire course in Bash. Will probably be, 10, 12 hours total. It's going to go through the entire Bash man page and all of Google's, among others, people's stuff. So, best practices that are not covered in the man page that have to do with security. So that didn't work because that killed everything. So I know it can be done. So just give me a second. I'm not saying I can do it right away. I'm just saying it can be done. IP address. What am I doing wrong here, people? Help me out. It's not just a chump. I might have to go cheat. I'm gonna cheat. You're so smart, pineapples. I'm so stupid. I need a break. I need a break. Thank you. All right, 10 bar. All right, so there you go. See that? This one has the controller, this one does not. So, I mean, if you want, I can benchmark it. I don't know if you guys want to benchmark it. Should we benchmark the two? Do you really want to do that? Should we try it? Let's do that. Let's use Hyperfine and benchmark it. Actually, I don't even need the outputs here anymore. So let's do this. Let's benchmark both of them. Actually, it's a small enough script that's probably not going to be very useful. But let's try anyway. All right, so we'll benchmark this with Hyperfine, the world's best benchmarking tool. 905 runs, 5.2 milliseconds between 0 and 5.2, and a median of 2.3. All right, now let's change that and make it use 2 subshells. All right, let's try it this way. Okay, so 3.4 milliseconds. It's 1 to 4, 1030. I mean, it's not. It has a lot of outliers. Wow, that one gave me outliers that the other one didn't report though. Command took less than 5 milliseconds. Command took less than 5 milliseconds. Statistically, outliers were found. I mean, outliers are caused by me streaming and stuff like that. So you can't do true benchmarking unless you're on a system that's totally quiet. That's a closer one though. What I need to do is I need to get a system where I can put this on, like up in DigitalOcean or someplace that doesn't have any, stuff to get in the way. It's slower, but it's just one line. It's actually 80% slower or so. Anyway, so this is the way to do it. And that's been a quick little lesson. Thank you for sticking by me. So the moral of the story is don't buy impressions of cybersecurity ops with Bash. I plan on posting this review to the Amazon review page. Maybe I can save some people some money because it's a complete waste of money. There's so much wrong with that book. It would be better for you to do your own research and to talk to somebody who has actually professional experience using shell scripting, because that book is so full of crappy shell security practices that I would not recommend it. I don't have another book. This is why I'm looking. Okay, guys. I'm going to say something you're not going to like. I would recommend reading the Bashman page. I know, crazy idea, right? And the next thing I'm going to show you, actually really feel strong. This is a new thing for me. I really feel like everybody should read the Google Shell Scripting Guide. And I'm not a fan of Google. Everybody knows that. But the Google Shell Scripting Guide is very, very well written. And it's written by a company who clearly has thousands of people all coding shell scripts that need to be interchangeable and understood. And they do little things, including like using local versus declare in different places so that it's easier to read. So I will be reviewing that when I come back from my break. And guidelines for each language, yes. And I actually also found a Bash linter. And that's actually how I found all this stuff, because I was trying to decide between 4 and 2 space indent and things like that. I was looking for a linter, which is what I have for Rust and Go and other things, so that when I finish my VI automatically runs it and reformats everything, so I don't have to worry. And I was looking for the same thing. You found the Shell Style Guide. Thank you for the introduction. I'll be taking a break. If you guys would like to jump the gun and go ahead and read about the Shell Guideline, just know that that's coming. I'm going to go ahead and end the video now.